Hi, everybody. The most important thing here is to understand what I'll be talking about today. So right now, I will be talking about the product I have shipped solo using the Claude code, but the angle of view I will be developing in this presentation depends on who I'm talking to. And it might be important to understand if you are developers or if you are people who are trying to develop a product like entrepreneur. So does anybody here is interested in launching their own product? Can you raise a hand? Oh, guys, very nice. And is there anyone here who is a professional developer and who depends on the bread and butter on the code they produce? Okay, very nice. For the first people, it will be or might be very inspiring. For the second set of people, it might be very depressing. But welcome to the club. It's AI era. So my name is Aleksandr. I'm in development for more than 12 years. I have built many different things. And most importantly, I have built Nerdheads. And Nerdheads is the company I own. And we have shipped 60 plus projects. The biggest one hit 20 mil. And my own agency is more than 7 figures now. And I have people working all over the world in all the time zones. I have built it bootstrapped, no money invested, like zero investment. And here, what I'm not. I'm not a developer. I'm not a hacker. I'm not a DevOps. I'm not a nerd, like maybe little. And I'm more like a project manager. And I still managed to build a real project single-handedly in 1 week, for code's sakes. 1 week. Big, normal, like not super big, normal production level project, which is working, which already generates revenue, and it's fully live. It's 100% developed. It works responsive. It has a suitable design. The founder likes it. So it's absolutely 100% ready shipped product. And my agency used to ship products like that in maybe 3 months, 6 months, sometimes 8 months time lapse. 1 week. This is the product. It's a smart hosting hub. There is Amy. She's the founder. She reached out to me. She said, Aleksandr, let's build the thing. It's very nice. She is an Airbnb top 1% host. And she has her property. And she is teaching other Airbnb hosts on how to achieve that top 1%. She had a special methodology built on that, and she trained her custom GPTs. You go to ChatGPT, maybe it was half a year ago, maybe a year ago, when there were GPTs, and you could, in a natural language, educate it somehow. So she created those prompts, basically, and she had 9 GPTs working for her, but she had still to do everything manually. And it took a lot of time for her to get the Airbnb listings information, upload it into GPTs, then analyze the whole thing, and it was pretty much painful. We built this thing. It starts with the lead magnet, so you just point a link to your Airbnb listing, then it analyzes how good it is, it gets your score. If you go inside of the project, you have all your photos analyzed, it has a vision, it understands where you're from, it understands what you're doing, it understands what kind of venue you have, which photos you are displaying, on which page, on which link. Apparently, Airbnb likes to play with the link, so it depends on which link you use, different photos here on the main page. And then it analyzes it on different values, starting from prime, the text, how the photos looking, which photos are present, which are absent, and a lot more, like 9 different tools. 8 tools. It was listing analyzer, listing creator, insights navigator, pricing pro, STR market, and guest comments. So to be honest, I don't know what those tools are and what they do. Amy gave me her GPT's like copy paste. I didn't even open. I don't know what they do. It feels like a product, and it works. It's not only feels, it generates revenue. So the next week after I released it and I hand off it to Amy and we switched Stripe to live, we have a call scheduled with Amy. It was a handoff call. I sent it live on Friday, and we had a call on Monday. And she's saying, okay, let's hand off the project. What is that? What is this? And look, what is this email? And she's showing me a Stripe email with the payment. She says, what is this? I say it's revenue. So this is how it works. This is the stack we used. So basically, it's built on the Next.js, mostly some Python on the hood. So we have a Postgres, we have a Redis for cache, we have Anthropic, of course. Claude is the main brain of the thing. We had everything pretty much standard, nothing cosmic, and a very usual stack, like all the solutions in the modern web you're surfing daily build on this. So this is a more detailed infrastructure. I used a Docker for the container. Like, never do this. If you're building with Claude Code, never use Docker. Never. Only in one situation, if you hand off the project and forget about that. If you will be changing your project, don't use Docker. So the stack is not a main thing here. The main thing here is how to develop it and how to make it really valuable and working. Airbnb is not an easy thing to fight. It fights with proxies, with bots, with the listings analyzer. So it was pretty much challenging to navigate that, one of the issues. And another issue is that I didn't know how Airbnb works. Particularly when you share the link, how Amy does it, or when you pass the link from the browser, or when you, like Airbnb sometimes try A/B testing. When you land on the property, there are some 5 main photos of the property, and they got mixed. So you never know which photo will be first. It might change if they use A/B testing, or it might change if they use different link. It might change if you use shareable thing. I have no idea about that. Amy hadn't either. So AI without strategy, it creates guessing. It guesses as good as you do, and usually even worse. So these are 2 assumptions. Okay, now core built in days. So 6 weeks it's now since we started, but actually to production it went in 1 week, maybe 1.5, and now we're still building it. That's why I'm saying no Docker, because Amy got very interested and intrigued with the revenue she gets, and she comes and says, let's build that, let's change this, let's edit that. And we keep improving this. Okay, so what do you need to get started? So the shopping list is very easy. You need 2-3 terminals running in parallel. So terminals is like command space type terminal on your Mac, or CMD on your Windows if you use PC. So just you can do tasks in parallel to speed up the process. Then you need some RAM, preferably at least 8 GBs on your server or on the environment you're running it in. Then you need the Claude code with preferably max X20 plan. It's really a very generous thing, and it gives you very generous load of tokens. Then you need just a basic understanding of coding. You don't need to even read the code. Absolutely, you don't have to even open VS Code or any other coding infrastructure. I haven't read a single line of code in this build. I can read code, but I didn't. Okay, and what's most important, you need to have some bravery, recklessness, and courage. This will help. Foundation is planning. Oh, okay, I know this is very thrilling, intriguing, but planning is super important, because if you don't plan in advance, the LLM will plan for you. And what LLM plans doesn't necessarily suit or fit to what you need. Maybe it might be different. LLM, Claude Code particularly, requires a nice design before you start and a nice project description. So the design, this was generated in Manus, like it was Amy. I said, Amy, do you have design? She said, I don't. I said, do you have a design budget? She said, I don't. I say, go to Manus. Next day, she came up with the design. It's not artisan, but it works and it's suited to her brand. So she gave me the front end, how it's supposed to look like. And most importantly, she, as a founder, she knows all those listings things. I, myself, I have never opened this interface. I have never navigated to this platform. I have never tried those listings analyzers. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. I know what they do, but I have never tested them. If it's not written down, that's not a requirement, because the LLM will absolutely go LLM thing. If you don't have a fixed set of requirements or predefined set of criteria or acceptance criteria, we will hallucinate. And the production part can be divided in 3 different phases. So phase 1 is to plan, phase 2 is to build, and phase 3 is to edit. The phase 3 is the most challenging one because you do edits and LLM is not prepared to edit. It doesn't know what you want. It goes harder. But if you plan fine, if you have a solid plan, phase 1 and phase 2 goes very fast. Like in the LLM world, developing is 10% of time and 90% of time is tuning. So if I had more detailed requirements, I would have shipped this in 3 days. I just didn't have enough requirements. Now we go, the more you wander over the plan, the more the plan wanders off you. This is trivial. What do we do? How do we start? First thing is we get the design, then we get the PRD and other user stories, documents, whatever you can get. The more you have, the better, but on other side of the scales is the more water you give to the LLM, the more drains you will have. So the text you're providing has to be specifically precise, but not too dense. So it still has to keep the natural language explanation because LLMs, they are naturally trained on all sorts of data and most of the data is natural language. So they sometimes prefer, up to my experience, not dense technical descriptions, but more human explanation of what we need. In my experience, this gets LLM closer to understanding what exactly we're building. So we have specifications, we have design, we have rules. This is very important. Then we have Claude Max X20 plan. Why that? Because if you will go with Claude API, it will kill you. It will drain all the money from your pocket. If you go with Claude basic subscription, you will have not enough tokens. If you go with Claude X10, maybe it will be fine, but most likely not. Claude X20 is what you need. It's cost only, I don't know, $200 a month or something. And it can give you maybe 4 or 5 of applications like that per month, $200. That's all. So you can use Claude Cowork. It's a very nice thing to do it because you can limit its environment and it will not be trying to go and build something in code itself. Because from this slide, we are dividing the brain and the worker. So we have the server, which is an isolated environment. In that isolated environment, we run terminals. We can run 1, 2, 3, 4 terminals in parallel, but the brain, the main thinking machine, is in your Claude Cowork and they're not connected. If you connect them, you will lose the control. They will still be doing something under the hood. They will try to act clever and you will lose control. So the most important thing is not to connect the brain and the workers. Then here we go. We just create the 4 or 3 files depending on what you do. This one, CloudMD, is essential. If without having it, you can't build anything with terminal. It's like you just can't. So Claude needed. And then the engineering standards is highly recommended. You put it there, then you mention it in CloudMD. And in the engineering standard, you explain, don't do long files. Don't put files in the root directory. Split the directories. Don't create files if they don't necessarily have to be created. You just go to Claude Cowork and say, hey, Claude Cowork, I want to develop an application. And this application have to be an industry grade. It have to be secure and it have to be compliant. So the senior developer will come look at it and say it's brilliant. Develop me a set of engineering standards that I will put to my Claude machine. So it will build a proper class code. And the Claude Cowork will develop you engineering standards in D, you copy paste it to the machine, it's done. You don't have to know how it works. You don't have to know what's inside. You ask proper thing, you put it there, it works. Then sessions is very important. So sessions is very important to drive context of what you're doing, why you're doing that, and to work within the terminal. So if you run 3 in parallels, they will be waiting for one to finish. They will not be touching the same thing. And if you ruin something, they can revive it, download it from the repository, and you have to connect your GitHub as early in the project as possible. And after each change, do commits. Then these are 2 commands which you might be using. the Claude dangerously and skip permission. We only live once. So let it do the job. What it does, what's the difference between the just Claude and dangerously skip permissions? It's just not asking you stupid questions. So you give it a task and it goes silent, and then it comes back to you with a stupid question only if this really necessary stupid question. If you don't put it, it will ask you all sorts of stupid questions. They are very important. But if you don't have your development qualification and you don't understand a thing in development, it will not make any sense to you. That's why just ignore it, skip permission. Then we have this wonderful subcommand resume. Imagine you have an evening and you are just tired, or maybe the Claude code doesn't work like today. Today it's out for 2 hours, disaster. And you want to keep up from the same spot you left the next Monday, and you want not to start from scratch or from the save point or from the commit. You just put resume and you get from the exact spot you left, exact spot. It has all the memory, it has all the session. You just start from where you left. It's very handy. Now, what do we have? We have desktop whose bosses the thing and the server who sweats. So you go to Claude Cowork, you say, hey, Claude, we build that and that. He already knows that. We build such and such. Yeah, it knows the requirements. We already dumped them. We created engineering standards. We created the LLMday. What's next? Next, we go sessions and we say, now we work in this environment. We have 3 terminals, name them terminal 1, terminal 1, terminal 2, terminal 3, then name sessions, session 1, session 2, and so on. And inside of the sessions, name assignments, like assignment 1, 2, and 3. So we have T1 goes S1, 822, something like that. And create an assignment for me for the terminal with the session name, with the assignment name in the MD container, so I copy paste. Claude code creates, you copy, paste in the terminal, click run, it runs, forget about it, go to terminal 2. While terminal 1 is busy, we do the same terminal 2. While they're too busy, we go to terminal 3. While they all busy, we think about how ruined our life is. When some of them finish, we repeat. That's all. This is the example of a task, you just copy paste it. Good when you have acceptance criteria in the end. If you don't, doesn't matter. But generally, the tasks are usually some screens wide, some screens long, and they have really valuable information there. Very good tip to do is try recons. So before you launch, try asking, hey, Claude, do a recon. So it understands what has been done previously, what's going on, and if it's even achievable. Sometimes it even needs to go and check some repos or latest development, latest models. So it has to do recons. Yeah, and then you have standalone machine and then leave QA and one more pass of the QA. I don't do QA manually. I have Claude machines, I have Claude servers, I have 3 servers doing QA for me. So my Claude Cowork, I say, hey, the product is built, generate me a QA script, I paste it on the QA machine, it passes. Then I say, generated penetration test script, I put it to another machine, it passes. If it doesn't pass, it fixes. And I haven't launched that application even once myself. I just go to Claude Cowork, Claude extension in the browser, and Claude in the terminal, which means the Terminator T1000 is already here. Yeah, and the honest part is that loose requirements drifts. This is the biggest problem. For if you are trying to change things in the real environment, like not in your test server, but on live server, Docker is helpless. Cached, fetched, faked, healthy. We always need to do recons, and the Next.js sometimes caches wrong things. We have to reload servers. We have to do QA passes and QA tests because we don't trust the LLM. We never trust the LLM. And the agent might lie. Again, don't trust LLM, double check. Good thing is LLM can check itself. Then nice thing to have is to develop a watcher droplet or a Telegram agent that has the SDK connection and MCP connection, and it just fetches your live state of the server, sends you notification, or you can even do changes from Telegram. It's very handy. Yeah, so this is the sessions I used. It got me pretty much 35 sessions to live product. On the sessions 46, I handoffed it, and then we still evolving, we changing things, but generally 46 sessions to hand off the project from start. Yeah. And this is the checklist you might need if you're shipping something solo. Specifications, CloudMD engineering MD files, try to do QA as fast as possible, slips in small slices. Don't try to swallow the crocodile or elephant at once. This is it. These are my contacts. You can contact me and ask me particular questions about this development or any other kind of developments. This is what we do daily. Usually we specialize on broader web products or more enterprise solutions. But nowadays, I think we all came into the AI era, which makes us living in a situation that I would say we are doomed. Development maybe in a year or 2 years from now will not exist as a profession. And every single founder now can found anything. The problem is how to get people be using it. The problem is distribution, not development. So this is it.